This episode is brought to you by Third Wave Water. So you all know me as Team Wine, duh. But during the day, my allegiances actually lie with Team Coffee. Like many of you probably understand, though, I have a bad habit of spending way too much money on takeout coffee because the coffee I make at home just never tastes as good. So sorry, Em, forget wine and milkshake facts. I have a coffee fact for you that just might blow your mind. So coffee shops spend thousands of dollars to make the perfect water for making coffee. And now for as little as 10 cents per cup, you can duplicate that magic at home. Third Wave Water has a patent-pending formula of minerals that when added to a gallon of distilled water makes coffee brewing magic. Recently, at the U.S. Brewers Cup Championship, which, hello, where can I sign up? Both the first and second place finishers brewed their coffee with Third Wave Water. Check out their website at thirdwavewater.com and use promo code WHYWEDRINK for 10% off your order. Enjoy!
What are we doing? Are we recording or something?
Yes.
What are we recording?
I don't remember, but I feel like it might be important.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Hi.
Hey.
I would ask how you are, but we've been talking for like 3 hours.
Man.
I already know how you are.
I know how you are. I know all
So
about
I guess that's
you.
it. That's the whole podcast.
Nobody wants to know
end.
anything except about us and our lives.
Okay, well, here's the thing. We just realized in one of our conversations tonight that we don't actually know each other very well at all.
No, it's crazy.
Like, anytime I've ever hung out with Christine, we just talk about weird things. But when it comes to basic friendship knowledge, we have no idea what we're like.
It's like we skipped 3 levels and went straight to the weird shit.
Like,
without like the the basic.
Like, we realized in day 1 that we both like ghosts, so we just skipped over the the shallow conversation.
Yeah, the charade of like
the surface info. And we
tell
were like,
me about yourself.
Oh, let's just dive deep in.
Yep.
So tonight I asked Christine what her favorite color is, and I was surprised.
And I was surprised at yours. And we were like, what a moment we just had.
I know. Who would have thought?
My favorite color is yellow.
I said mine's green, but the truth is, if glow in the dark were a color.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about tie-dye?
Okay, it's funny you said that because I didn't want to be like a douche, but I actually wanted glow in the dark.
I could tell. I was like,
okay.
I know you don't mean that.
Okay, but my out of Roy G. Biv, I like Crayola original green. Or
that's a good one.
Green screen green is like my favorite.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, like that t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. I do like mac and cheese color from Crayola, that yellow orange.
That's a great color.
Also, Purple Mountain's Majesty was a good purple.
That's a good one. I liked
cerulean blue.
Cerulean, that was
how do you say it?
cerulean.
That's probably how it's pronounced. I'm still thinking of it the way that 5-year-olds say it.
I went, what's that suit one? And I said it the way I think it is, but who knows?
I also enjoyed razzmatazz. Do these colors exist anymore in Crayola, or have they totally redone them?
People are like, what the fuck? What, do they do
Is
magic
it just an
mushrooms?
American thing? Like, are all of our international listeners like, what the fuck is razzmatazz?
I don't think Crayola is an international. Well,
maybe it is.
Well, because in Germany they have all these fancy-ass pens.
How do you say crayon in German?
They usually just say Stift, which means like anything you write with, basically.
What do you say?
Stift. It's
Stift?
just like a...
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a writing thing. It's like a very generic, like...
Oh, well, that's not fun at all.
I know. There is a word.
Okay, but how do you say butterfly?
Schmetterling.
Yep, that's a fun one.
Oh, thanks. You're like, yep, you got it. Schmetterling. I know, it's a weird word. But also, butterfly is a weird word, too.
How are you? Even though we already tried answering that. We realize we're not friends. God. That's how we are. And that's why we drink.
We're in a weird place in our quote-unquote friendship.
Okay, well, let's start slow. What are you drinking?
Okay. I don't know.
It's called Wish Flower.
Ugh, how stupid. It's called... I'm sorry. I picked it because...
Well, they won't be sponsoring us.
Yeah, oops. It has a really pretty label. That's why I picked it.
Okay.
It's called Wish Flower. Oh my God.
What?
In the 1800s, young girls commonly used dandelions for romantic wishes. It was believed that if you blew on a dandelion and all the seeds flew away, your loved one shared your feelings.
Or you have a good lung capacity.
That's probably it.
Asshole.
Eventually, this tradition spread to encompass all wishing, romantic or otherwise. We embrace the optimism of making wishes and hope, and the fact that they might never come true. Whatever. And hope that our wines, in some small way, can help your dreams come true. Okay. That's the first part where you're right.
It's like, you can keep reading that, or you can just drink away the whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
why didn't you say that
is.
right off the top? Anyway, that's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking?
I already drank it because we've been talking for 4 hours.
Too many hours.
But I wanted my hand at the s'mores frappuccino again because last week was coffee flavored.
And I drank half of it.
Yeah, with a knife.
Oh, man.
But so at Starbucks, I'm apparently a celebrity there because without fail, I can go in there at any time now and the employee will go, "Hey, Em," no matter who it is. Like, it's not one person I've now befriended. It's the whole crew.
Oh, man.
And so there's one girl there who gives me the hookup. And I said, "Oh, I really want the s'mores cream frappuccino." And the milk chocolate sauce that they put in there is so good. Oh my God, I want to take fucking shots of it. It's so good. And I told her, I was like, "Can I have extra of that milk chocolate stuff that you put in the fraps?" And she said, "Well, we usually do 2 pumps. Do you want like 3 or 4? And I was like, "Fucking 4!"
Yeah, what do you think?
But I guess, no, I really said, "Fucking 4!" Like I really reacted that way. It was just like such a natural instinct to like look at her like she was an idiot. And she gave me this face like, "I'm sorry." And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like I overreacted. It's not you, it's me. But so she ended up giving me 5 pumps and I was like, "We Gucci."
Aww.
I know. Anyway.
I like how you think you're famous because you're recognized in Starbucks when like half of America's elementary school moms are also recognized in their local Starbucks.
You're really just like
I'm sorry.
shitting all over my ego, huh?
I just remember I would take my sister there after school because her friends would buy, like, from her preppy school.
Right.
And because her friends would buy cake pops and their moms would get, like, skim soy lot, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always be like, "Hey, hi, Janine, like, what do you want today?" And I'm
Okay,
like,
well, they say it with a smile. They're like, "Hey, Em."
okay, at least they're excited
They're
to
like,
see you.
yeah, I don't make
They're
them
like,
feel
"Oh my
bad.
God, she's here, oh my God."
Why do you drink? We should make like a song, like "Why do you drink?"
Oh,
like,
yeah, like a fun little jingle.
we'll work on it.
Why?
No.
Nope.
No.
Wrong, false, rewind. Okay, I drink because, okay, I'm not going to talk about it very long. I just want to say because...
It's all we've been talking about for 3 hours.
Yes,
I already know what you're going to say.
It is the elephant in the room. To use the most hackneyed phrase of all time. What are you doing?
I don't actually really know.
I thought you were saying... Okay.
I was stretching in an odd way and it looked like I was presenting...
I thought when I said it's the elephant in the room and you put your arms up, I'm like, no, not you.
Oh, I really don't know what I was just stretching in a weird way and now I'm insecure. Okay, just tell me why you're drinking. Let's just tell everyone the elephant in the room.
So the elephant in the room is that I have started studying this thing, and I feel like a lot of you are going to be like, eye roll, eye roll, eye roll.
This is a test of your loyalty.
Yes, which is what everyone in my immediate vicinity also has done, and they've stuck with me for 48 hours, so I'm hoping you guys can stick with me too. I've started studying this thing called the Akashic Records, where you go, it's sort of like the book of life, or like a kind of like an imprint, an energy field, an imprint of everything related to one's soul, and you can go in and kind of ask for guidance. And I've started studying it, and I went to a workshop this weekend. It's a lot of synchronicities that led me there. I ended up at this workshop. Anyway, long story short, you're not allowed to drink 24 hours before you do any sort of reading. Mm-hmm. So for 3 days, including over the weekend, I have not had any alcohol. And I will say it's been an immense struggle, which makes me sound like, I mean,
an issue.
A real issue. But it's been 3 days. I hadn't had anything to drink. And yesterday, Blaze was like, "Are you mad at me? Like, are you okay? Are you mad at me?" Like, he was so worried. I'm like, "Why? What? I don't understand what I'm doing." And he goes, "You're just so, like, down."
Sober.
Yeah. And then he goes, "Is this what you're like when you don't drink?" And it hit me. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm a garbage person. So he goes, it's 9:30. And he goes, "Let's get ice cream." And I'm like,
desperate to fix it.
yes, let's get ice cream. So
Well, reason a million why he's amazing. It's 9:30. Let's get ice cream.
he got me a churro ice cream sandwich. I was like, thank you.
Very LA of you, by the way.
I know.
Nowhere else in the world do you just get churro ice cream sandwiches.
At like 10 o'clock at night, yeah. But anyway, it's great. I'm drinking now. I feel like it might hit me harder because it's been 72 hours. But
Which means the story will get even more interesting. That's the fun of it.
The story is good. But anyway, sorry. So I'm doing this crazy... LA has made me like the most woo-woo granola person in the world. Trying to fight it. It's real hard. Gio ate my crystal the other day and I was pissed. But I got it back.
After? Did you have to wait?
I let's not go there.
Okay.
So why do you drink this week?
I drink because two things about the same topic. So we have, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when we moved out here separately, the reason we moved out here is because we went to grad school together, and there was a program that brought us out here. So we did a semester in LA, and then if we wanted to stay out in LA, we moved out here on our own after graduation.
They were like, see ya.
Yeah. And so one of our friends from the program just moved out here yesterday, Matt, and he's a very nice man, and he's got a wife, and they're very big fans of us.
They just got married.
They just got married like a minute ago.
Matt and Chanel, hi.
Hi. And when they drove cross country here from Boston, they listened to every single one of our episodes.
They Snapchatted us listening to our... I'm like, you guys must have wanted to... A road trip is hard enough being trapped in a car.
They're listening to like 20 episodes of us talking about murder and ghosts.
They probably never want to see us again. They're like, we've had enough.
So the reason I drink is because when I saw them yesterday, they told me two things. One really fucked me up.
Uh-oh.
And the other will probably fuck you up.
What?
I was trying to like blow their mind with a fun fact, and then they ended up countering it with a better fact.
Oh.
So I told them, if you're 24 or older, then you have lived 10% of America's life. Because America's right now until July, it's 240 years old.
Oh,
so
man.
If you're 24, you've lived 10% of America's lifetime.
That's fucked up.
So we've lived 10% of America's history.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, I was trying to tell them that, and then he just looked at me and he was like, when did you graduate high school? And I graduated 7 years ago. And he said, well, I guess, basically he looked at me and said, as of next year, I'll have been out of high school longer than I was in it. And that made me really feel old.
Wait, we've all been out of high school way longer than we've been in it.
No, like we were in high school for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he's, I don't know. How am I fucking this up?
I know there's some weird fact that I read on the internet.
I'm going to text him and like ask him about this.
So this is why I drink, because I'm just like, what the fuck? This is why Matt drinks, because he's sitting there ripping his hair out going, that's not my fact.
Well, the other thing that fucked me up that they told me, like the other reason I drink is because apparently in one of our stories, in one of our listener stories episodes, we talked about Jonathan Nunez, who killed his girlfriend. And Matt was like, yeah, I used to play football with him in high school.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know the positions of football, but when they like were in a line, you know what I mean? Like, I like, don't get sports. You know better than I do.
When they were in a line.
You know what I'm talking about.
God,
what do you call that?
I'm sweating.
What are you like height?
A linebacker? I don't know.
You watch football.
Yeah, but I don't know what line you... I mean, there's a lot of lines. I don't know which one.
Oh, well,
a linebacker?
Sure.
The big guys?
They're all... like, okay, all I know is that Matt and him used to stand next to each other.
I like how you're like, what was Matt? You watch football. I'm like, oh.
Well, whenever... Okay, let's say they like... When they're all... I don't know. Just ignore this.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
They played football together.
I probably sound like a fucking moron.
They played football together.
Wait, the guy who killed his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And left her in the woods.
Matt and him used to, like, yes, the one that left her in the woods.
And drown her in bleach.
Yes.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. So they used to, like, not only go to high school together, but played right next to each other, like, in football.
Oh, my God.
And I think Matt was, like, he was a big guy in football back then. So, like, he was, like, during all of high school, I think he played football with this guy.
He was like,
and they hung out like by themselves.
God.
Before he married his wife, Matt one time went to Chanel's house, and I guess Chanel's mom wouldn't like let her out of the house that night, and so Matt decided to be like goofy to like turn the radio on in his car and like start singing to her up to the window, and Jonathan Nunez drove with her. Like they both sang to her in the window, like they hung out alone.
Oh, I just got chills.
And so Matt was like, it's hard to believe that he did that because, according to Matt, he was like, I had no idea that guy had it in him to do something like that.
Does he know the girl who sent in the story?
She went to their rival school or something like that. So they didn't know the girlfriend, but they knew the girl that Jonathan Nunez broke up with to be with that girl.
Oh, guess what we're doing? We're bringing the world together.
Aww. But anyway, so those two things are the reason I drink.
Dude, that's fucked. It like brings it home of like, Oh.
Like, it's very 6 degrees of separation
Yep.
of we know a lot of serial killers.
Oh, wow. That's dark. I was thinking more
Okay.
like this is real for people, but like, yeah.
It is also real.
We also
Yeah.
know serial killers, I guess.
Okay, anyway, that's why I drink. Are we buckled in? Because...
I'm harnessed in for a bumpy ride.
Okay, bumpy indeed.
Listen, okay. Go.
I tried on these notes to make it to at least clean it up a little bit, and I definitely picked something that was ghost heavy, because the last one I really just gave everyone a tour of beer.
I was into that though.
I know, but a lot of other people were probably like, "What the fuck? I'm not here for this." So I
They're
apologize.
like, I'm Team Milkshake, Em. What the fuck?
I'm so sorry for what everyone had to go through. So I made sure to pick not only something that's like super paranormally active, but something that everyone knows and something that someone requested. So this was a request. This was actually, I want to give myself a little credit because I did plan on doing this, but I was going to hold off on it. And then I got a request and I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it sooner than I expected. So this was a request from Emma McLellan on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And she requested that I do the Stanley Hotel.
Yay!
So for everyone who doesn't know, the Stanley Hotel is the hotel that inspired the Overlook Hotel in The Shining.
I've been waiting for this one.
Have you?
Yeah, I love The Shining.
Interesting. You never told me about it or wrote it on a board. Do we even use the board anymore?
Look what's on the board. It's our poster.
It says Alexis and Geo forever.
That was not me.
It also says Sleepy Pony.
That's my improv team's name.
God damn it, Christine. Okay. So, the Stanley Hotel, which is in Colorado. Fuck, that did not sound confident at all. But it is in Colorado.
They're going to say The Shining. I was like,
Oh, no. So,
it is in Colorado.
it started in the 1800s when it was on a land. The land was called Estes Valley. Fun fact, since we're getting to know each other on a personal level, my first grade teacher's name was Mrs. Estes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
Mentally noted.
Okay. She was all right. Okay, so Estes Valley was once native land to several tribes in the area, and it had like streams and meadows and beautiful animals. Like, it was just like kind of what you imagine heaven looking like, you know? It's just perfect nature. Okay, so.
Okay, got it.
Okay. In 1872, the 4th Earl of Dunraven,
Oh, yeah, him.
yeah, my guy, he moved to America from Ireland and began running a very successful brothel in the area.
Oh, what an
Because
earl.
when you're an earl in Ireland, you might as well move to Colorado
And start a brothel.
and start a brothel. So he was always on the lookout for young women to come work for him. So he's already kind of known in the 1870s as a slimy dude he was always pestering the ladies in the town, even if they're married. He's like, come work for me.
Ew.
He's like very dedicated to his craft.
Oh,
I guess.
wow. Good for him.
After seeing how like pretty and all the views that the valley had to offer, he decided that he was going to keep it for himself because he's the Earl of Ireland, so I guess he can just do that.
Cool.
And he was going to make it a private hunting preserve. And
Oh.
so he may have been Irish, but like a true American, he took the land from the natives. So
And wanted to hunt on it.
and wanted to hunt on it and kill all of their animals.
Great.
In 1903, though, so I guess he owned it for 30 years-ish. Mm-hmm. And in 1903, an inventor from Massachusetts, his name was Freeland Oscar Stanley,
Aha!
and he arrived to the valley. So he had tuberculosis, which back then was called consumption. And so when I read this, I was like, he's sick from eating too much? I have fucking consumption all the time. Get over yourself.
I should move to Colorado.
So I Googled it and I was like, what the hell are the symptoms of consumption? That like, it's such a big problem. And it said tuberculosis. And I was like, oh, that's a big one.
It's not too much cake. Okay.
So he was sick with tuberculosis. And I guess at the time, the only quote cure for tuberculosis was a lot of fresh air. Like,
Oh, yeah. They would move you to like...
So the doctor said, you have to move from Massachusetts to Denver, Colorado. And so they did that, and I guess he wasn't getting better, so the doctors were like, listen, just move to the mountains to die. Like, you have... I'm not kidding. They're like, you have a couple months left. Like, just move to, like, the freshest air you can if you want a chance at living.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Sure.
So he and his wife moved to the valley, And after spending the summer there, he was cured. Like, he just, like, had no more tuberculosis.
Damn.
Okay. After spending the summer in the valley, he was cured and believed that it was a sign that him and his wife should move there permanently.
Sure.
So they ended up buying the land from the Earl of Ireland, and they now owned this land. It was like 35 acres. And the only thing that they didn't like about the land was that they were used to, like, the East Coast posh environment
Sure.
of, like, having all the sophisticated
Like
stores.
society,
And, yeah. And instead, they're, like, on the west in this tiny little valley. Like, there's a very small community.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to build a community together that made them feel like they were back east. And they built the Stanley Hotel, and they equipped it with electric lights, telephones, ensuite bathrooms, a staff of uniformed servants, and a fleet of automobiles at the guest's disposal.
Holy crap.
So one of the things I said at the beginning about Freeland Stanley is that I said he was an inventor. So he invented the Stanley steam car.
Okay, I was about to say, where the fuck is he getting this money?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he built the Stanley steam car, and then for like until like 1920, it was the most popular car in America.
Wow.
So he was like making big bucks.
He was like fine.
And so one of the benefits of this place, one of the perks, was that they had a staff of servants and a fleet of automobiles at the guest's disposal, but all of the cars were Stanley steam cars. So if you were not only at this lavish hotel with electricity and running water, you also had like top of the line, most popular car driving you wherever you wanted in the town.
I'm just picturing like a Tesla hotel wherever.
Yeah, these days it would be the Tesla Hotel.
Like running off of. Like,
this is also one of the first hotels west of the Mississippi to have electricity.
Really?
So in that whole area, it was
holy crap.
like a castle for them. By the 1970s, the hotel started fading, and mainly because 30 years before, in 1940, Freeland Stanley died. And since he was always flipping the bill back up until 1940, the hotel was running swimmingly. But then when he died, no one else could afford to pay that.
Yeah.
So it was slowly dying out. So 30 years later, by 1970s, it was pretty much like about to go out of business.
Oh.
But then in 1973, Stephen King visited the hotel and stayed a night with his wife. So he and his wife were the only guests at the hotel that night because just like in the movie, they was about to close for the winter because they didn't have heat. Mm-hmm. And so they were going to close down, but in an emergency, they were there. They showed up at the hotel like a week before they were going to close. So they were the last people there. And The Shining was inspired by the events that took place while he was there, and the overall experience of being secluded in a grand resort hotel all by yourself. It wasn't as crazy as the movie. It was definitely like inspired, not based on true events.
I sure hope so.
So, yeah, just like floods of blood.
Well, that was my first thought. I was like, yeah, that shouldn't be anyone's experience.
So he had a nightmare of his son running down the hall screaming and being chased by a wild fire hose. And he also said that he encountered a bunch of children wandering around the halls, even though they were the only guests there. And he also said he witnessed a party in the ballroom, but no one else was checked in. He also said that he witnessed a young child, like walking around in his room, as well as a chambermaid. Like he saw a maid that looked like she was in older clothes in his room when there shouldn't have been anyone in there. So that was all in room 217, which this day is the hotel's most requested room, and it books up like literally years in advance.
Oh my God.
Especially for Halloween weekend. Like for the next 10 years, it's booked, and for Halloween weekend. And during Halloween, they also host a costumed Shining ball.
Oh my God.
So early in the novel, the son Danny is told to avoid room 217, just like the one that he stayed in real life.
Yeah.
But if you watch the movie, the Stanley Kubrick version, they tell Danny to avoid room 237 because the hotel that they filmed in was afraid of losing guests, and so they made the people, the writers for the movie, pick a number that didn't actually exist in their hotel. Oh, so they said room 237 because they didn't actually have a room 237, so they wouldn't lose customers. Fun fact: the exterior shots of the movie were filmed in Oregon at the Timberline Lodge, or Timberline, and the interior shots were filmed on a studio lot in England.
Really?
And the Stanley Hotel didn't have a hedge maze that Stephen King wrote about, but now in honor of the novel, they built a hedge maze.
Oh my God.
So Stephen King actually, I'm just throwing in the fun movie facts while we're here. So Stephen King didn't like the Stanley Kubrick version of the movie, and so Stephen King ended up going back to the Stanley Hotel and filming his own miniseries there, like to get the truest adaptation of it that he could. So there's a miniseries based on the novel, and it's supposed to be truer to his actual encounter there. And so depending on whether or not you like the Stanley Kubrick version or the Stephen King miniseries, there's a channel, I think it's channel 42 at the hotel, that plays a nonstop loop of both of them.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So if you're at the hotel, you can always watch the movie.
That is hilarious. Can you imagine being in 217 and watching?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Let's book it right now.
And that's why we drink.
Yeah, for 10 years from now.
So, the hotel has 138 rooms, and it's on 35 acres. And there are two different types of tours. One's a 90-minute tour, and the other's a 5-hour tour. But that one comes with like your own paranormal equipment, and you get to like go into all these like secret rooms, and you get to hear a lot more information.
Holy crap.
The Stanley also has a resident psychic and professional paranormal investigator on staff at all times.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. A resident psychic. How do you get that job?
What a cool job, though.
What a cool fucking job.
So staff at the Stanley are quick to point out that there are never any reports of sinister or evil events that happen there, because all of there are only happy ghosts. There are only happy ghosts, apparently.
That's good.
I call bullshit, though.
I was about to say, I don't know.
Like, how can you really
quantify, like...
Right.
Or qualify how happy all your ghosts are.
So the main ghost is the one in room 217 where Stephen King stayed, and that's the most famous one. So what happened in that room back in 1911, there's a girl who was a chambermaid named Elizabeth Wilson, although some stories also call her Mrs. Smith. But she was one of the chambermaids of the Stanley, and she was actually one of the oldest chambermaids there. She started back when, like, the Stanleys bought the place.
Yeah.
So there was a really bad storm outside one night in 1911, and the lightning killed the power. And so her job was to go to each room and turn the gas lamp on so that the people staying there could see.
Right.
And I guess one guest tried to turn off the light, but the gas was still on at one point. So the gas was still on and didn't realize it. And in 1911, they didn't put the smell in the gas. So she didn't detect that there was a gas leak. So all she had to do was open the door to the room with her candle that she had in her hand, and the whole place exploded.
Oh, Christ.
So all of room 217 got taken out, and all of the rooms up until, like, 3 floors up, all of those rooms got blown out. And
holy crap.
She was thrown by the force of it. She was thrown into through the floor into the main floor dining room.
Oh my God.
So she literally went thunk, through the floor into the dining room downstairs. And the blast destroyed the entire west wing of the hotel, which was 10% of the hotel, and the hotel was 70,000 square feet. So 7,000 square feet of a hotel.
Holy shit.
Destroyed. Somehow she survived only breaking both of her ankles. So she was in the hospital, and they paid for all of her medical bills and stuff like that. I saw an article that said that Mr. Stanley paid for all of the hospital bills, promoted her to head chambermaid, paid for all of her kids to go to college, and he was also you can do whatever you want at our hotel, but you'll never be required to light a gas lamp again.
Good for you.
It's well, you're damn right.
Yeah.
So after...
Can you imagine today you'd be a millionaire if that happened?
Oh my God. I'm kind of at a stage right now where I'm please let me go into a fiery room.
I'm not joking.
Please shoot me through a floor.
I think the reason I just saw that casual comment, I saw a woman get hit by a car. We'll talk about it another day. But
that's certainly why you drink.
Yes, it is. But I think the reason I saw that is because I keep joking, oh, I wish a car would hit me so that I can gain the insurance money. And then
you saw it happen to someone.
I watched 2 incredibly horrible car accidents in a week in front of my apartment. And I was like, get it, got it, good, moving on. Anyway, go on.
So after she did eventually pass away, People still regularly see her in room 217, and they see her walking through the room and into a wall, because now room 217 has been turned into room 217 and room 215.
Oh.
But it used to be a bigger room, so where she's walking through the wall, she actually is like walking into another part of the room.
Wow.
She's been known to hang up people's clothes, put their suitcases away, straighten up their room. People will come back from the lobby and they'll see that their shoes are all lined up on the foot of the bed. And she also has like a real like strict like opinion about unmarried couples.
Oh no.
Because if anyone who, first of all, how do you know that they're not married? Like that shows some divine intelligence. But if anyone who's not married is about to like do the bump and grind,
Do the deed.
They'll feel like a cold, angry presence between them in bed to keep them from doing anything.
So don't schedule your honeymoon for that.
No, schedule your honeymoon because you're married.
Oh. Fuck.
Just don't schedule like Tuesday, you know, like if you're unmarried.
Sorry, avoid Tuesday.
Okay, so one cool thing that came out of that room recently, I think like only a year or two ago, they found, I guess an engineer was trying to clean out the air ducts in there or something like that, and they ended up finding remains of the original wallpaper and carpet.
Oh, wow.
So I guess the wallpaper had brightly colored floral patterns in red, pinks, and greens. Gross. And the carpet fragments had, it looked like it was like grass colored green with with red and blue details. And they matched the original photos of room 217 when the Stanley first opened, but they were always black and white, so they didn't know the colors. And so they like saw and like matched it up and found out like exactly where
That is so cool.
the remnants were. And the people who found it were freaking out because they were like, I mean, it wasn't their job, but they were really interested in history, which is why they were working there. And they were quoted in an article being like, it's so cool that over 100 years ago, someone picked these patterns and like now we can confirm that like they're still here. Like,
that is so cool.
So that's a fun fact for you.
I actually really love that.
So like, because I guess the wife of Freeland Stanley picked them out herself.
Wow. Okay.
So they're like, it's so cool that we can see what her taste was.
The exact colors.
Her taste wasn't great.
No, it seems a little tacky, but
she did her best.
it's fine.
So, okay, so Freeland Stanley's wife was named Flo Stanley. Oh, Freeland and Flo.
Freeland and Flo.
So, I'm done with the history now. We're just talking about the ghosts now.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. So now and also before I get questions from people, I looked everywhere to figure out where all of these deaths happened on the property, and I couldn't find anything. So like there's just a bunch of ghosts with no background except
they're just there.
the only one is the chambermaid. That's the only one I know who actually died on the property. I don't know where the rest of these fucking ghosts came from. So Flo Stanley, his wife,
Yeah. Flo and
Freeland.
Flo and Frankenstein.
So Flo Stanley, who is his wife, she was often seen, her main thing, I guess, was she liked entertaining guests. And so a lot of times you can hear her play the piano at pretty much any time of the hour, like
Oh, God.
any time of the day. And she also would play music next to the music room where people are actually trying to practice real music.
What a bitch.
She just, like, I don't know what's, like, that's just the pettiest thing I've ever heard of like, oh, well, maybe I'm a little better.
Just play louder.
So she's known to do that. And then pictures are often taken of her on the main staircase.
Oh,
Like, you can just, like, find her there, I guess.
that's cool.
Her apparition has also been seen gazing out the window of the music room.
Ooh.
So basically music-oriented is
Yeah.
what she's up against. So her husband, Mr. Stanley, his apparition has been seen walking through the main lobby, has been seen walking in the bar, has been seen, like, overseeing people do their duties, like making sure people are still, you know, keeping up with what they're supposed to. He's pretty much often just seen everywhere, still overseeing the hotel as is. But Lord Dunraven from Ireland still floats around too.
Shut up.
On the 4th floor near where the nannies used to go. So like
Fuck off, guy.
so like try and like steal them away from the hotel and like give them a job at the brothel.
What a creeper.
So he also steals people's jewelry, and then they find it in random places later. You can smell tobacco in the air, and the flashlight game that I used to like playing during investigations, that's the best way people have gotten him to talk. So that's how they found out that it was him, because he would give yes or no answers to the flashlight game. There's also, for some reason, a bunch of children that are just ghosts on the property, and I can't figure out where they died, how they died, why they're there.
Oh, no.
But we're just going to accept it as fact that there's a lot of little ghost children.
Yikes.
So the sound of them running and playing in the hallways pretty much everywhere is common, but mainly the 4th floor, because that's where the nannies and kids stayed in the beginning. You can also hear them whispering in closets.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Like, did you ever see that scary movie where the girl would clap, like...
Do you think I saw that?
Oh, hide and seek. That's what it was called. And the way you found them was you would find them clapping.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Anyway, you could hear kids whispering.
I'm already upset about it.
One entity of a little boy will try to wake up sleeping children on the 4th floor because he wants to play. So a lot of kids have like
PTSD?
No, maybe. I was gonna say their parents find them awake in the middle of the night, and then they'll say like, "Oh, he keeps trying to wake me up." And another little boy will turn on the TV really loud. He'll turn the lights on and off. There's another little girl who likes to play peekaboo with people by the staircase, which means like she just like shows up and then leaves, and then shows up and leaves.
That is creepy.
Last year there were actually 2 pictures that started kind of hitting the news. Like CNN posted both of them.
Really?
Because different tourists. There was one guy named Henry Yao, and he took a photo on the staircase when he was totally by himself, and there's like very clearly a person there. And I guess it was like 2 people in the picture, and there shouldn't have been anyone, and the figures were described as a woman in old-fashioned clothing with a child standing next to her.
Oh my God.
And the other picture was a woman took a picture of her fiance in front of the house, and when she zoomed in behind his shoulder, there's someone definitely looking out the window in a room that's been closed off for years.
Oh, that's even creepier.
So now pretty much everything I have to say is about individual rooms. So if you wanted to stay in a room and have an experience, these are your options.
Great.
So in room 302, a male ghost has been seen as a shadow in the room walking near the walls. Photos on the wall have been known to fly off of the walls on their own. And in the show Ghost Hunters, the investigator named Grant stayed here, and while changing film, he watched the table levitate.
Oh, while changing film.
Yeah, of course, while changing film. So we're just taking his word.
I believe you, Grant.
So that was room 302 if you want your own table levitating experience.
I don't want that.
In room 413, several guests have reported seeing a man in old-fashioned clothes standing in the corner. And you also see his face in a blue ball that has been seen on the outside door of the room.
Ugh.
I don't know what that means. The face of a man in a blue ball.
Like an orb.
Like an acid trip.
Like an acid trip.
There's also a spirit named Eddie who shows up. He used to show up with a gross smell, and then he got the nickname Stinky Man.
Oh, poor guy.
So he started feeling bad and started showing up with a pleasant smell. So, like, I guess you can just change that at will.
Oh, my God.
But his presence is still super discomforting, and people, like, don't like when he's around. Like, they don't like the feeling of him when he's nearby. So even though it's a nice smell, it still kind of triggers the employees to stay away.
Oh my God.
And they've had a lot of mediums try to talk to him, and I guess he had a really tough life, and that's maybe where the feeling of discomfort shows up.
Poor guy.
So they don't know if he's actually a bad guy and makes you feel bad and is trying to like mask being bad with a good smell, or if he's actually a good guy that just everyone seems to hate, and in his past life he had a rough life too. And that's where all the energy is coming from. For Ghost, and also in Ghost Hunters, there was an investigator named Jason who had a glass on the nightstand while he was sleeping, and it shattered on it by itself, like exploded while it was on the nightstand. In the hallway, this is a story that I read about one of the people who stayed there. They said, my siblings and I were wandering around the hotel when we rounded the corner, and we saw a small opening in the wall, and when we looked through, there was actually a hidden passageway with a very narrow and steep circular staircase that descended into pitch blackness. And then they tried to look at each other to be like, what the fuck was that? And when they tried to look through the hole again later, the wall was completely closed.
Shut up.
Yep. Another story, this time in the ballroom, like in the basement ballroom. This girl said, my sister and I were visiting and ditched the official tour to take our own. We came across this big room with chairs covered in white cloth, and so we thought it'd be funny to play ghost and drape the cloth over ourselves.
Oh, no.
And then run around pretending we were ghosts. We took a bunch of pictures with our phone, and all the pictures from that room only were deleted on our phone, but everything before and after were still on the phone.
What the fuck?
Another person said, in a bathroom at the Stanley, the shampoo bottle was thrown at me from the tub, and once when I was in 1302, I've had my voice recorder knocked over and windows open and closed by themselves. In room 401, someone said, men don't feel particularly welcome in here, and there's usually a feeling of pressure on them to get out of the room. The closet doors will open and close on their own, and another glass of water shattered in here by itself.
Oh, great.
In room 407, people have reported being tucked into bed by no one there.
Oh, God.
And one guest said that he kept kicking his covers off, but they kept coming back on him throughout the night.
Ew.
At another time, another guest reported feeling something sit on the bed, and when she turned the light on, no one was there, but she could see the indentation of someone sitting.
Yep. Nope.
Covers are sometimes removed during the night. Hangers are known to move around. Bathroom lights go on and off by themselves. A guest one time woke up to being tickled by no one.
Listen,
Like,
that's...
tickling is already
No.
not fun.
There's already something beyond creepy about tickling
Yeah.
someone you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you wake up and you have the feeling and no one's there.
That is probably the worst one you've said yet.
One person, many guests have fallen asleep in room 418 and woke up to feeling like their legs were being hugged.
Ew.
In room 428, a ghost cowboy tends to frequent this room, pacing the end of the bed while the guests sleep, and the female guests will wake up to him leaning over and kissing their forehead.
Oh no.
Which in my mind, it's like, I don't think it's a ghost when I see someone waking.
No.
Like
if you see a person
someone's
in
about
your
to
room,
hurt me. Like someone's gonna like assault me if
you-
they're leaning over to kiss my forehead.
if you wake up to a man leaning over you in bed
And you don't know who that guy is, and you're in a
no.
hotel.
That's not a ghost.
Like
That's a I'm in danger.
one of the most reliable spirits is a former maintenance man named Paul who used to work at the Stanley Hotel for 10 years.
A reliable Paul.
Reliable Paul. And one of his responsibilities was to enforce the 11 p.m. curfew. So a lot of times in different areas of the hotel at 11 o'clock, you'll hear someone say, "Get out."
Oh.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that.
So reliable of Paul.
God damn it,
Even
Paul.
in his after years.
Hashtag classic Paul.
Classic Paul. And a construction worker also said that one time he was trying to fix something in one of the rooms, and by 11 he had thought he had heard someone say "get out," and then kept working, and he felt someone like physically nudge him towards the door. And he felt like his arm getting pulled on. So Paul's really like committed.
Paul's good at his job.
He'll also flicker the lights on around 11 o'clock at night to like be like
Bedtime.
like a bar closing. Shadows will come out of the corner of people's eyes. Towels will fall off the racks on their own. The TV will shut off by itself, or the TV will turn on by itself and the volume will go all the way up. And then when you try to approach the TV to turn it off, it'll turn off by itself.
That is terrifying.
I've had that happen to me.
Wait, seriously?
Oh yeah, it's no joke.
The volume turning all the way up is so creepy to me.
The last ghost is there's a little girl in a pink dress named Lucy, and her connection to the Stanley is not known, but so many people have seen her that they've just given her the name Lucy. It's assumed that she was like a runaway or a homeless girl that just was living there, but a lot of people will hear her humming, and a lot of people have gotten pictures of her, and a lot of people on tours will be like, why is there a girl on this tour? And when they turn around again, she's gone. She'll also go through the music hall and play with the lights, and she's known to be super active during investigations when people want to try and talk to someone.
Wow.
So the last story I have is about the music hall, and someone didn't write this into me, but wrote it into a website, and I'm totally stealing it. So this is that story.
That's what we do.
At the beginning of the tour, you go to the music hall, which would often be occupied by children playing during the daytime. You're seated in an observation box and told that a lot of the activity was thought to be that of children, especially in the music hall. One guide asked us which of us were good with kids, and those who raised their hands, she gave a lollipop for them to hold out in the palm of their hand as if giving it to a kid.
Oh my God.
Sometimes the spirits would take them from you if they felt comfortable enough. And some people claim to feel movement, some didn't feel a thing, but I personally watched this fucking sucker drag from the middle of my hand all the way off of my hand to the ground. And then she said, I wasn't a believer before that day, but the experience has fucked me up permanently.
Oh my God.
And then on one of the review sites for the Stanley Hotel, there's a quote that says, we have more nights with activity than without. It's a Disneyland for spirits.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, how haunted. Like, I knew it was the Shining Hotel, but I don't think I realized, like, how actually haunted it was.
I didn't either. Also, one of our podcast friends has done the Stanley Hotel before.
That's right. Hillbilly Horror Stories did an episode on the Stanley Hotel several weeks ago, and it was great.
Yeah, we just wanted to give that shout out.
Yeah, it was it was really good, and I wanted to give them a shout out because
they deserve it.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Okay,
because they're great, and your story reminded me of their episode.
Oh, great!
And we love you guys.
Great.
We love y'all.
Yeah, there you go. All right, tell me a murder.
All right, so my story is about Katherine Mary Knight.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is the first, I realized the first normal name that I've picked in a long time.
Yeah, I can pronounce it.
Because finally I'm not, like, having real anxiety when I introduce the story. So
good.
I went ahead and looked up her sign. She's a Scorpio. So I thought maybe I don't know why. I was reading about her and I'm like, I wonder what star sign she is, which is not.
Is she the killer or the victim?
The killer.
Okay, obviously.
So I thought you should know because
best that you did.
It came to me. Okay, so as per usual, she had a shitty childhood.
Oh, who didn't?
Yeah, what a surprise for these.
I can't wait for the serial killer where you're like, everything went great, actually.
She was so loved and supported. Yeah, so this seems to be a running pattern. Her father, Ken, was a violent alcoholic who raped her mother up to 10 times a day.
Oh my God.
Already just...
Okay.
A garbage start.
Okay.
Her mother would tell her daughters intimate details of her sex life and how much she hated sex and men. At one point, Katherine complained to her mother that her partner wanted her to do a sex act that she wasn't comfortable with. And her mother responded by saying, put up with it and stop complaining.
Oh my God.
So that's how you know...
That's how you know the beginning of the end is happening. It's already here.
Absolutely. It's not a healthy upbringing. Katherine claimed she was sexually assaulted by several members of her family, but not her father. Although,
what a man he was.
Just to clarify, but a lot of psychiatrists say that that's BS. So it's
probably
unclear whether that's true or false, but that's her alleged claim. I mean, at this point, it's not like highly unlikely, but whatever. The only two people Katherine were close to were twin sister and her uncle Oscar, who committed suicide in 1969.
Did Uncle Oscar do shit to her?
Not that I know, but
I mean, I imagine if you're close to him, he's probably a good guy.
No. So she was really close to her uncle, and he committed suicide in 1969, which, like...
That sucks.
Destroyed her.
Right.
And to this day, she says her uncle's ghost visits her, so that's fun. So that year, the year that her uncle Oscar committed suicide, her family moved to Aberdeen. This is taking place in Australia, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know of Aberdeen.
Just mild disclaimer.
Okay.
Hello, Australia.
Hey, Aussies.
Hey, Aussies.
I really like Outback Steakhouse, which is not Australian at all.
Oh.
I'm just trying to
It sounds like a really...
I'm trying to, like, fit in with them, but I don't know anything about Australia.
I'm sure they love bloomin' onions.
They actually probably don't.
No, I'm sure they...
That's, like, not an Australian thing at all.
Fucking hate
That's
it.
just Americans being stupid again.
Oh, it's 1,000%. Anyway.
Sorry, Australia, for who we are. We're really just horrible people.
Oh, Lord.
We, like, at least we know we suck.
Don't
like,
lump me in. I didn't say anything about Outback.
Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we suck.
Oh, America in general? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We suck.
Oh, we're terrible.
Yeah, okay. As long as
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, glad we're on the same page.
Sure.
But I do love bloomin' onions. But okay, that's besides the point.
I like steak.
Oh, me too.
Cool.
I'm sure Australians like steak.
Oh, they sure do. They like a slab of kangaroo and koala on top.
Another
No, don't say another shrimp on the Barbie. They'll
Please.
murder us. They'll murder us.
Please. I paused to let you.
Shrimp on the Barbie.
Hey, you can't say it and not let me say it.
Okay, we'll say it at the same time. Go.
Another shrimp on the Barbie.
And we have lost all of our Australian listeners.
Goodbye. So that year, the family moved back to Aberdeen. So Katherine started a new high school. Apparently, she was a total loner. She bullied small children. She assaulted a boy with a weapon. One of her teachers injured her because she was acting in self-defense. But apparently, when she wasn't having bouts of rage, she was a great student.
Oh, good.
And she got awards for her good behavior.
Mm-hmm. Why shouldn't she?
Like, what the fuck? So at age 15, she left school and apparently had not learned to read or write yet.
Oh my.
So whatever that is about.
How do you
get good grades? And
if you can't read or write, then are you just you're just talking to people?
I don't know.
Like, is someone saying, do this assignment, and you recite it back to them?
How are you doing that at age 15? I don't know.
Is every one of your pieces of homework to draw? Like
draw a picture of...
Or to just, like, think really hard?
I'm sure that's not it. It's probably like your book reports. Okay.
Yeah, somehow I made it out alive.
Just do what Em did.
If you told me when I was 17 years old that I would have a master's degree and a PhD offer, I would have, like, okay, going back to 17-year-old me, a PhD offer in neuroscience, I would have absolutely thought you were punking me, like, without doubt.
Even knowing you now, I'm like...
But then if you told 17-year-old me I said no to the offer to go work in TV, I'd be like, that's more like me.
Start a radio show on the internet. You'd be like...
About death.
About ghosts. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, that's more like it.
17-year-old me is like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Badass.
Oh, my mom's so proud of me.
Yikes. So apparently she did not learn to read or write, but she got her dream job.
Which was?
Cutting up organs at the local slaughterhouse.
That was my job, bitch. She took it from me? God.
But you had to get a master's degree for that?
I know. Whatever. God. So she just chopped up.
Fucking unfair. And guess what? She was quickly promoted to boning the animals.
That's like the best part of the job.
That sounds way worse than it looks on my page. Okay.
Boning.
I just read that out loud and thought...
the wall of wooden dildos.
Oh my God. And I wrote boning in quotations and I was like, whoa. I wrote these notes at 7 a.m., so who the fuck knows. But she got promoted to boning and giving her own set of butcher knives, which she hung above her bed for the rest of her life.
You know what? Butcher knives are expensive. So that's a real gift. Like, you get that at housewarming parties, you know?
Yeah, but you also get, like, a KitchenAid. You don't hang it above your bed.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, the placement was wrong.
Anyway, so she hung her knives over her bed, which she did at every home she lived in her adult life. And at her dream job, she met her dream man.
Of course she did.
Listen.
You know, I have my dream job right now as a podcaster, and I have not met my dream girl. So,
maybe she's right in front of you. You've met your dream man. Gio's literally 10 feet from you right now. Get over it.
It's such a refreshing thing to hear.
Accept it. So this guy, her dream guy, David Kellett. He was Kellett. Oh, interesting.
Okay, David Kellett.
How very Freudian of you. David Kellett was an alcoholic.
Okay.
Surprise.
Dream man.
What if I was like, he was a sober Christian.
Isn't that everyone's dream man?
Yeah.
Just a dull man.
Just a dull man who wears khakis. Okay, so she requested they get married in 1974, and he was like, I guess that's fine. So
my dream man's that enthusiastic about marriage, too. I guess that's fine.
Apparently, she dominated him completely. They arrived to the service on her motorcycle she was driving, and he was completely wasted sitting in the passenger behind her. Apparently, her mother told him, David,
right,
quote, you better watch this one or she'll fucking kill you.
Oh.
Stir her up the wrong way or do the wrong thing and you're fucked. Don't ever think of playing up on her, quote, cheating on her, or i.e. cheating on her.
Right.
She'll fucking kill you.
Oh my God.
But they got married anyway, so that was a beautiful wedding.
Have fun committing to this person.
Yes, beautiful wedding toast from her mother. I can only hope my mother is that
She'll fucking kill you.
Heartwarming on my wedding day. They got married right away. On their wedding night, Katherine tried to strangle David.
Oh.
But she had a perfectly valid reason.
Really?
Because he would only, he fell asleep after only having sex with her 3 times. And she won.
Oh, so she killed him for being a man.
She tried to...
A surprisingly impressive man, by the way, because most of them do, like, one time?
And then sleep. Yeah, right. So
okay,
she
so
said...
you have a great guy and you just kill him.
So she says... Well, she didn't kill him, but she tried to strangle him.
Oh.
But, so they had a pretty violent marriage, surprise. At one point when Katherine was heavily pregnant, she burned all of his clothing and shoes, then hit him on the back of the head with a frying pan because he had arrived home late from a darts competition after reaching the finals of said darts competition, which, like, I wish I knew more about that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm really interested in that.
We could be really good at darts.
I'm like, dude, if my husband were, like, in the finals of a darts championship, I'd be like...
I mean, I would just be impressed.
Go, 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 guy. But apparently she wanted to kill him. So he ran away and collapsed at a neighbor's house with a severely fractured skull.
Oh.
But she talked him into dropping the charges.
Did she talk him into it or threaten him into it?
You know what? What's the word? Que sera, sera. I don't know the phrase.
What? Are you having a stroke again?
You know that feeling where you're having a stroke? There's that phrase where you're like, oh, I got it. Tomato, tomato.
In case people want to know, it's midnight on a Sunday and we have to go to work tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So anyway, like I said, she was heavily pregnant, so she soon had her first child, their first child, Melissa Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And then David left her for another woman because he couldn't cope with her violent behavior.
I wouldn't either.
So the next day, after he left her, Katherine walked down Main Street with her newborn baby in a stroller, throwing the stroller violently from side to side, like a crazy person.
Cool.
Was admitted to the hospital with postpartum depression, spent several weeks there. When she was released, she promptly put her 2-month-old daughter, Melissa, on the train tracks. And left her there.
So, sure, her depression wasn't cured.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. Her whatever was happening wasn't cured. Then she stole an axe and wandered around town threatening to kill people.
For any and all reasons?
No. 0. Just one. She put her baby on the train tracks and then stole an axe and wandered around.
Okay. Not someone I'm going to invite to a party.
Enter Old Ted.
Old Ted.
Who you for sure would invite to a party.
Okay.
Because Old Ted was foraging by the railroad tracks when he discovered Melissa, the newborn baby.
Oh, so the baby didn't die.
Yeah, he rescued her minutes before the train came through.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They arrested Katherine, but somehow she recovered overnight and was released the next day to be back with her baby. So a few days later, Katherine took one of her famous knives and slashed a woman in the face with it.
Oh, PMS.
Because
it's Monday.
Because it's Monday. Then she demanded the woman drive her to Queensland, where her husband David had moved with his new lady friend.
Oh, no.
When they stopped at a rest stop, the woman escaped.
Okay.
But when the police arrived, they discovered that Katherine had taken a young boy hostage with her knife.
Uh-oh.
The police attacked her with brooms.
Uh-oh.
I read an article about this on crack.com. And it said, quote, "The police arrived and beat her into submission with brooms because law enforcement in Australia is apparently hilarious." End quote. I was like, yeah, there's no other explanation.
Right, yeah.
I read the Wikipedia article and another article, and it was like, they beat her into submission with brooms. I'm like, does anyone understand why that is how this happened? No?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so they took her to a psychiatric hospital where she told the nurses her full plan, which was to kill the mechanic at the service station who had repaired her husband's car so that he could leave town to leave her. So she wanted to kill the mechanic because he repaired her husband's car so that he was able to leave town.
So really anyone that was against her at all.
Right. And then she wanted to go see her husband and kill him and his mother.
Okay.
Sure.
Good.
Sure. Plan. Yes. Sure.
Okay.
So then the police were like, listen, David, this is what your wife wants to do. So he left his girlfriend and moved back to Aberdeen with his mother to support Katherine.
Oh, that's it?
I was writing these notes and I was like, oh, the police told him and warned him. And
right.
I'm like, and then I wrote, thank God. And then it said, and then he took his mother and moved in with her. And I was like, wait. No, that's not where this is supposed to go.
Someone was held at gunpoint somewhere.
Wrong.
Okay.
Bad decisions. This is not anywhere near the fucking end, believe me.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, she got another job at a slaughterhouse.
Good.
Dream job.
Right.
They had another daughter, and then in 1984 she left him because I guess she was bored. I don't know. So shit gets really fucking crazy here. In 1986, she met a 38-year-old miner named David Saunders.
Okay.
A few months later, he moved in with her and her two daughters. She threw him out of the house a lot because she would get jealous of what he did when she wasn't around. What would he do? I don't know. Watch TV. I literally don't know. Maybe he was in a dart competition and was in the finals. I don't know. But she kicked him out all the fucking time.
I mean, I get jealous all the time when you're with Gio and I'm not.
That is true.
So maybe there's a story like that going on.
That's true. Could be really deep-seated, like our relationship with Gio. In full abusive relationship fashion, she'd kick him out and then beg him to return, obviously, and he would comply. In May of the following year, this is upsetting. If you have a dog or love a dog,
oh my,
I know. She cut the throat of his 2-month-old dingo pup.
Oh my God, it was a baby.
2-month-old, and it was his puppy.
Oh.
In front of him.
Oh my God, Gio's sleeping right now. But I know. Go pet him.
He literally jumped up, but I think it was because we both
so
went,
cute.
Wah! To show him what would happen to him if he ever had an affair. Just slit its throat. 2-month-old.
Did she basically buy the dog to kill it?
I'm not joking. A 2-month-old pup is the size of your hand.
Oh my God. And and I can hear the little whimpers.
Then she knocked him unconscious with a frying pan. And I will just add that if someone ever cut my dog's throat, I would
fucking kill them.
I would set them on fire.
That's too nice.
No, it's too nice.
I would torture
I was going to say I would
them.
cut their throat, but I'm like, no.
I would cut half of their throat.
And then I would
so
set
they could
them on
just
fire.
feel the rest of it happening.
And then I would...
I hate this person.
I know. She's terrible.
It's too late for me to be hearing this.
She's a Scorpio.
Duh.
So, instead, he stayed with her. They had another daughter.
Oh my God.
And bought a house together.
I would be vasectoming myself left and right.
Yeah, I would set her on fire.
I would literally wait till she's asleep and then set her on fire. The wife.
I would literally somehow become... learn Santeria to send her soul into hell. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I would just destroy her forever.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, she really had an eye for decorating, though. She...
Everyone's got a silver lining, Christy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she filled the house with animal skins, skulls, horns, rusty animal traps, leather jackets, old boots, machetes, rakes, and pitchforks.
I fell for your joke. I thought you actually meant, something other than dead animals.
Oh, you don't think that's a nice... decor.
I mean, the feng shui is just a kilter off.
All right. I mean, to each their own, but...
I really thought you meant, marble and granite and, leather. I wasn't expecting bones and hooves.
Contemporary furnishings. No. That was a list from Wikipedia, actually, because I thought it was just the most comprehensive. She literally put rusty animal traps, skulls, animal hides, animal skins, pitchforks, and apparently no space, including the ceilings, was left uncovered.
Oh my God. There's a store like that in Hollywood.
Of course there is.
Or no, not Hollywood. I think it's in Wilshire. It's called Necromance. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that place? Everything is actually a skull.
I've looked in it. I haven't gotten it.
I literally saw a taxidermied... No, not whatever you call, when you turn them into a rug. But it was a 2-headed cow rug.
Ew.
I was so confused. I never went back.
No, I wouldn't either.
They have
what kind of store is it? I've just seen it.
It's literally just a weird fucking animal skull store. Everything has to it's basically everything creepy. There's a doll in there made of human hair from 800 years ago.
Is it Robert the doll?
No. It's literally It's like pocket sized.
Okay, all right.
It's really gross.
Listen.
And then they have a picture next to it of the girl whose hair it is.
Jesus Christ.
It's very weird. It's the whole thing is weird. Everything's like made of eyeballs and
No, I'm glad you said that because I've walked past. I'm like, oh, a quirky store. I'm glad I've
quirky. Yes.
No, I didn't even like know what it was. Okay, nope.
I'm glad I looked. Oh, and then by the cash register, there's like this display case, and there's human skulls.
Are you kidding?
And there's like a sign that says like it like is a disclaimer of like we legally got these from a medical school, like some H.H. Holmes shit. But like they had to write like in case someone tried to sue them and be like, "There's human skulls here."
Can you imagine like now hiring like if you tried to work there, if you got a job there, like how creepy to close up that shop.
Oh my god!
You know?
Someone's
Something's got to be there.
Something's there.
It's got to be. You're like using their skulls for show as like, ooh, in Hollywood. Ugh.
Yeah, like when because I know I want to be an organ, or I am an organ donor.
Sure.
But like, if I died and found out that my skull was just on display in a creepy store, I'd be like, that's not what I meant.
In like a bougie ass area of like, oh, people are paying thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I meant like, I did not mean
Like
put
help
myself
humanity.
in Hollywood. Yeah.
Not like be a bougie ass skull in a case.
Ugh.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so she was clearly ahead of her time.
Right.
Okay. So at one point, they got into an argument. She hit David in the face with an iron, and then stabbed him in the stomach with a pair of scissors.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. She was mad. He moved out, but came back, because, you know, why wouldn't you?
Right. Why not?
And discovered she had cut up all his clothes.
That's
So
the nicest thing she's actually ever done.
I know,
though.
that's the calmest thing.
Yeah.
Even the fire was a little much, but the cutting
Right.
up, it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He went to hiding.
Okay.
It's like that.
Fair.
It took the cutting up the clothes.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's like
she can slit the throat of a 2-month-old dog.
Yeah.
She can stab you in the stomach.
with
but
scissors.
she cuts up your shirt and you're out. Says a lot about you.
He bought that at Banana Republic. That was not cheap. I don't know. That was it. That was the turning point. He left her with his daughter, by
You
the
know,
way.
to be fair though, it is usually the smallest thing that like
The
hits
trigger,
you.
yeah. What is it?
When the shoe drops.
Oh, that. But there's
What are you
another
doing?
one. The camel's back.
Oh, the straw on the camel's. You were doing a motion like you're dropping something.
I'm thinking like the straw. What is it?
It's the last straw on the camel's back.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought you were like dropping a shoe.
I'm dropping a straw on a camel's back. Duh.
Did you know that? Did you know the phrase the other shoe to drop? Do you know where that's from?
No.
It's from when people started moving into cities, and so they were building apartments on top of apartments on top of apartments. So people had never lived on top of each other before.
Uh-huh.
And so people would all be coming home from work around the same time, and so everyone sits down and takes their shoes off.
You're kidding.
And so you would be sitting there, and you would hear your roommate upstairs take off their shoe, and you're just waiting for that suspensive for the other shoe to
You're
drop.
kidding.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Because back then the shoes were so heavy, and it was just like plywood.
Like
it was just like you could definitely hear everything above you.
How crazy.
So that's where it meant it came from anticipation, because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Holy shit. No, I had no idea.
I'm so lit. Okay, here's
I love fun facts.
Because we're trying to learn about each
Yeah.
other. There's nothing I love more than etymology.
I love etymology. Okay.
Okay.
Let me finish this story. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. She hit him in an iron, blah, blah, blah. He left his daughter. Okay. So he went into hiding because she cut his clothes up.
Okay.
Because we were talking about how the shoe dropped.
Right.
Oh, the shoe dropped. Jesus Christ. Okay, so several months later, he's like, how's my daughter? So he went back. Okay, I don't want to judge him. He was in a terribly abusive relationship. But yes, he went back to see his daughter and found out that Katherine had actually gone to the police and told them that she was deathly afraid of her husband, who she like frequently stabbed in the stomach. So she kind of did the whole gaslighting thing where she turned on him. A year later, she casually decided to get pregnant by a former coworker from the slaughterhouse.
Casually.
And they had a boy named Eric. They started a relationship that lasted for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then she was like, I'm going to leave you for a man that I've been having an affair with for a while now.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So she pieced out and met this dude, John Price.
John Price.
So John Price is a main character in this story.
Ooh.
This is where it gets good.
Okay.
So John had 3 children of his own, and 2 of them lived with him.
Okay.
He was called Pricey by his friends, and a terrific bloke
A terrific bloke. That's how I hope to be remembered.
In the outback.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they say that.
In the outback.
I'm going to teach you a
Let's
lesson.
go out back tonight.
What's that song about Australia?
I don't know. What's the song about Australia?
It's a really good song.
Is it their national anthem? I don't know. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree.
What if that was it? That's all I know about Australia.
That's literally the closest thing to an Australian song I know. What?
I come from a land down under.
Oh, is that Australian? Oh, I guess it is, because Down
Ooh,
Under.
Yeah, I come from a
Yeah.
land down under. That's the one. It's by Men at Work.
I'm sure the Australians are not listening anymore.
I come from a land down under. You better run. You better take cover.
You better run. You better take cover. I come from a land. We have no more Australian listeners. Alright.
Okay. My voice is so deep. Okay. Let's talk about John Price, named Pricey.
Okay.
Okay. So John, aka Pricey, knew full well about Katherine and her reputation as like being, a person who like stabbed people in the stomach.
That's a good reputation.
Yeah, I mean it's like fine. So apart from some violent arguments, they had a splendid life
Okay.
together.
Okay.
At first.
In
1998, they had a fight because John refused to marry her. So to get back at him, Katherine videotaped items he had stolen from his job.
Videotaped items?
Yeah, she would like she videotaped like a set of items he had stolen, but it ended up just being like outdated medical kits that he took because they were like expired. So he like took them home. So I guess they were like first aid kits or something. So he took them and brought them home, but she videotaped them, and technically it wasn't allowed. So he got fired from a job he had worked for 17 years.
Oh my gosh.
So he kicked her out that day.
Good. And then how'd she retaliate?
A few months later, he decided to rekindle their romance. I don't know why. She must have been like super fucking charming.
She must just be really good in bed, to be honest. It doesn't take much.
Listen, that's probably it.
It really doesn't take much.
This time he refused to let her move in with him, though.
Okay.
Trying his best. They started fighting more and more. Apparently he lost most of his friends. Sounds, again, very abusive relationship.
Oh, 1,000%.
Obviously, at this point. So in 2000, after attacking him a few times, Katherine stabbed him in the chest.
Why wouldn't she?
And then he was finally fed up.
Yeah, it only takes like 2 or 3 gut stabbings.
Yeah. I mean, she got him in the chest that time. It's like...
That's scarier to me.
Yeah.
Because there's...
Oh, yeah.
That's so much scarier.
Because you've got, like, more bone and... like, you got more...
Things that should never, ever, ever, ever be punctured.
That's the protected part,
Yeah, that's your shell.
And then he took out a restraining order, and he told his coworkers, if I don't come back to work tomorrow...
I'm dead.
Katherine did it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They begged him not to go back to his house. He's like, but I'm worried about my children. So
Aww.
when he got home, he found out that Katherine had sent the kids off to a sleepover at a friend's house, but was not there at the house. So he's like, okay. He spent the evening with his neighbors, got home around 11 p.m. Turns out earlier that day, Katherine had bought black lingerie, had videotaped all her children while making comments that were some sort of like a crude makeshift will.
Oh,
Almost
okay.
like she made like a creepy videotape of like a will, sort of.
Ew.
And then while he was sleeping, she showed up at his house and watched TV for a while before taking a shower. Then she woke John up and they had sex. First mistake on his part.
So she's very much like a Black Widow.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. She's like leaving a trail of like...
Well, she like sleeps with them before she kills them.
I mean, she hasn't killed anyone yet.
Well, she will.
But they're all like...
She's currently slept with everyone.
severely injured. She stabbed them
She's
in
like
the stomach.
a shitty Black Widow.
Yeah. She's
Because
like...
she can't kill them. She's just really mentally torturing them.
Right. She's like a wannabe Black Widow, almost.
Yeah, she's like a Black Widow in training.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So she woke John up and they had sex. First mistake. Then he fell asleep again. second mistake. When John didn't show up for work the next day, his coworkers were like, well, he warned us of this, so they called the police. They broke down the door and found Katherine comatose from overdosing on pills. Listen.
Okay.
Listen to what happened.
Okay. What's happening?
Oh my God. Okay. This is what happened.
Oh, this is what had happened?
This is what had happened. She had stabbed John with a butcher's knife while he was sleeping.
Okay.
According to blood evidence, he woke up after she stabbed him and tried to turn the light on before attempting to escape. He was chased through the house, managed to open the front door, then was dragged back into the hallway where he bled out and died. She had stabbed him 37 times. Then, Katherine went into town and withdrew $1,000 from John's ATM account. And then she decided to do some more home decorating.
Okay. With his body?
She skinned him, hung his skin
Oh my God.
intact in one single piece.
Oh, okay. God, I'm impressive.
I know. She worked at the slaughterhouse, you know.
Oh, right. She
dream-
does have her background.
Yeah,
in
her
this.
knives, her dream job.
That
she-
takes true skill, though.
Oh yeah, it was like
I don't even know
precise.
how you could do that.
Precise.
I guess
It's like how a lot of those really precise serial killers are doctors because they have the medical knowledge.
Right. Wow.
So she cut his skin off in one intact single piece, hung it from a meat hook on the beam of the doorway into the living room.
Wow.
Then she was like,
I can't even wipe my mouth without tearing the napkin. How do you get a
I
whole
know.
body stretched into a
I was thinking that too. I'm like,
skin is so.
I'm like thinking,
I imagine. I don't know how elastic a piece of skin is, but I
Because I'm
imagine it's
thinking
kind of loose.
your toes and everything. Like how?
Yeah, how do you web through each finger to peel it out the right way?
That's so specific.
There's a lot of nooks and crannies on a body.
There's a lot of unanswered questions here.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
I don't think.
What about
his wee wee?
his situation?
I
Yeah,
don't-
do you
Do you go around it?
Yeah, do you go hamburger or hot dog way?
I mean, I'm trying to think of your store, the necromancy. I
Uh-huh.
guess they don't include that stuff.
So did she just ignore that part?
She's like, you
There's
can have
too
your
many
penis.
details, too intricate of a
You
cut.
can have your muscles and your penis. Oh, okay, all right.
No, that's a good point.
It is, yeah. It's interesting. So then she was like, I should make dinner. So she cut off his head and boiled it in a pot on the stove with some vegetables.
That's not even the part that you eat. There's no meat on a face.
Listen.
Okay.
She cut pieces off of his body off and pan fried them,
Okay.
for some protein.
Makes sense.
She cooked pieces of his butt with baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, cabbage, yellow squash, and gravy.
Okay, also, that does sound like a delicious fucking meal.
If it weren't his butt.
I mean, yeah, but people eat rump from other animals.
I mean, not from a human.
I know, but if I were going into this person's house not knowing she was crazy and offered me dinner and told me, oh, we're having rump roast with all these great gravied vegetables, I'd be like, this sounds like it's going to be a good night.
And there's a penisless skin hanging from the doorway.
What? Wow.
Listen.
I'm I'm the last person who wants any part of that.
I mean, listen, that's why I stopped eating. That's why I'm trying to go vegetarian.
It's
because I'm
again, something I didn't know about you, that you're deciding to go vegetarian because of some penis skin.
No, because of the rump roast. I'm it's just upsetting.
I feel
me.
like you're reading too many true crime stories these days to be able to eat meat.
I can't eat meat. I eat chicken occasionally, but I feel guilty about
Literally,
it.
I had red meat all weekend.
I
It's
know.
been so great.
And it's that's fine, but for me, I can't eat red meat. And it's a long story. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then, so she cooked pieces of his butt, Mm-hmm. Then she set 2 place settings at the dinner table with a place card for each of his 2 children beside the plates of food.
Well, did they enjoy the meal before they knew what was going on?
They didn't eat it.
Oh.
She just said it.
Oh. I know she
had set them off for a sleepover.
That's true. I thought maybe she fed it to them the next day or some shit like that.
She tried, but no. So she okay.
Because I mean sick, but if someone fed me you, I'd be I would okay, if I died and someone fed my body to you, I'd hope you at least enjoyed it, because otherwise that was all for nothing.
But you don't want to. as a, like...
I mean, I would hope you
As
wouldn't
an
know what was happening.
8-year-old, you're not going to eat your dad. Like, that's so fucked.
But
His
did they
butt-
know? Did they know it was dad? Like, eat this,
would
this
know.
is dad.
Especially if the house was covered in fucking...
Oh, like she didn't clean up the house or anything.
No, she's Looney Tunes. She, like...
Okay. Up until now, I thought she, like, killed him, cooked him, served him to a
chopped
clean
off his
place.
head and then
yes, but the kids weren't there to know
hung
that.
his skin from a hook in the living room. And as a child, even if you didn't know it was him, you'd find out once you knew he was murdered and you became an adult that you ate him for dinner.
If she didn't want them to know, she could have hidden it pretty well.
No, not really. She was so Looney Tunes that she...
Right, but if she wanted to, if she wasn't
I
Looney...
don't think she wanted to. I think she was just out of control crazy.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay, it's hard to argue about someone who's bananas. Okay.
You shouldn't argue
So,
irrationality.
The police found... Okay. So the police found a third meal thrown onto the back lawn for unknown reasons. One of the speculations is that she might have tried to eat it herself but couldn't go through with it.
Okay.
Then she arranged the body by draping his left arm over an empty soft drink bottle and crossing his legs. Then she left a note on top of a photograph of John, the husband. It was covered with blood and small pieces of flesh. And it read, because remember, she never learned how to read or write.
Good.
Time got you back, Jonathan, for raping my daughter. Raping my daughter.
Oh, that's not something I should laugh about.
You to Beck, who's John's daughter, for Ross, for Little John. Now play with Little John's dick, John Price.
It sounds like when Charlie's trying to write something on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
It's like worm hat.
She literally spelled daughter Douter and wrote rapping instead of raping. But police literally investigated the claims or the accusations. There was no evidence of any of anything that she claimed. Katherine tried to plead guilty to manslaughter, which was obviously rejected. Manslaughter.
Right.
She was charged with murdering him and pled not guilty.
Okay.
Then she abruptly changed her plea to guilty a few days later. Still unclear why. Especially because she still claims she didn't do it. She's not responsible.
Right.
Sure. During the trial, the skinning and decapitation were described on the stand.
Oh, wow.
And Katherine became so hysterical she had to be sedated.
Yikes.
Most of the psychiatrists who assessed her supported her lawyer's claims that she suffered from amnesia and dissociation, but still considered her sane and said she knew perfectly well what she was doing when she did it.
Wow, that's all that matters.
I know. And 2 psychiatrists concluded she suffered from borderline personality disorder. But supposedly she knew full well what she was doing and did not get away with any of it.
Wow.
She was sentenced to life in prison, and her papers were marked with, quote, never to be released, which is the first time life imprisonment without parole has been imposed on a woman in Australian history.
Wow.
And in June of 2006, Katherine appealed the life sentence, claiming that her punishment was too severe. The judge responded with, quote, this was an...
Fuck you.
Quote, shut the fuck up, Katherine.
End quote, judge.
End quote, I have a law degree. The judge responded with, quote, this was an appalling crime almost beyond contemplation in a civilized society, and the appeal was dismissed. And she is still in prison.
Okay.
She cooked his head, tried to feed his own children, not her.
His body.
His children.
His ass.
His butt. Not even her children.
Right.
She had a million other children running around, but his children, she set creepy place settings and wrote threatening notes to them and tried to feed them and then threw one of the plates into the backyard. I mean, she was bananas.
She's bananas. She's for sure bananas.
Ooh. Anyway, that was just a weird one that I discovered.
Wow.
So, on that note...
Wow. On that note, silence.
So, what's up?
I don't know how to come back from that. Do we have a geo horoscope?
The weird thing is that now when I Google Scorpio horoscope, it's going to be her horoscope also.
Oh, yeah. Geo's friend in the astrological sphere.
Aww.
Is he so in love with me?
Keep doing what you've been doing. The family members you've been trying to help will finally realize what you've been up to, and believe it or not, you may even hear a thank you or two.
Aw, baby
It's not
boy.
as funny, but
He's so handsome, Christine.
my sweet bear.
He's such a babe. All right, well, at least we're ending on that instead of, like, ass eating. In one sense of the word. Aw, baby Gio, he's so handsome. That's why he's there to help you.
Oh, my sweets.
Honestly,
Wait.
he's there to, like, here's what I think Gio is. Like, has to be on some level an emotional support animal for this podcast alone.
Oh, yeah, he's here to support
Because the second I'm like, oh, this place is haunted, and you're like, let's rip apart this guy's head and put eyes and scarves. I'm like, oh, Gio, come over here. Gio, come over here.
Anyway, the last thing I want to say is
Uh-huh.
I just love everyone who listens to us and supports
What the hell's wrong with you?
I just love them so much.
Christine's been very emotional today.
I'm so emotional.
I've, like, never seen Christine cry, and she's been on the verge of tears all night. And I'm
verge.
like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do you need me? What do I do when you're sad? I just call Blaze.
He says, give her wine.
She's drinking wine and tears are almost
Do
out
you
of her
think
face.
wine makes you stop crying? Because if so, we really don't know each other. Anyway.
Before I forget, we should remind everyone that our next episode will be a listener's episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a chance at having your story in the next episode, you have about 2 days left to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the next episode will be July 1st.
Holy crap.
I know.
That is crazy. And we're going to do a fun blooper reel where we play the Newlywed Game.
That is something we'll do.
I'm so excited.
So if you would like to hear the blooper reel, you have to be a Patreon member, and you can become one at andthat'swhywedrink.com.
Yes.
You can also find us at all of our social media, ATWWD Podcast. You can email us to put a listener story in.
Mm-hmm. And even if we don't play on the next one, like, we save them all in a folder and we're going through them.
Yeah,
so.
just because it doesn't make the cut for 1 month doesn't mean it's disappeared. We have all of them saved.
Yes.
So, I don't have any other updates.
Listen.
Except I can't believe I have to go to work tomorrow.
It's bedtime.
Okay, well, until then, I guess you'll hear from us in 2 days.
Yep. And you'll hear from me on Twitter being like, hey.
Okay, we're both so tired. We're both so tired. I just don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Me neither. I hate myself.
I have to be up in like 6 hours.
Jesus. Okay. Bye, guys.
And that's why we drink.
And that's why I drink.
And that's why we drink.